Thanks, Joe, and welcome, Donna, to the F Word.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. What is Fitted for Work? How does it fit into the grand scheme of things?
So Fitted for Work is an organisation that helps transform the lives of women, and we do that through helping them achieve financial independence. And the best way to do that is helping them get work and keep work. And we've been around for about 10 years. It was started up by two founders, two remarkable women, Marion Webster and Renata Singer, who got the idea when they were travelling in New York and came back and started the organisation in Melbourne. And we've just celebrated our 10th anniversary and we've helped over 20,000 women.
20,000?
Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah.
So what sort of help, what sort of assistance do you give women?
Yeah, so the women that we see are experiencing disadvantage, and disadvantage can happen to any woman at any point in her life. So we will see women who are from refugee and migrant backgrounds, we'll see women exiting prison, women who perhaps have experienced the death of a partner or the breakdown of a marriage. They may be escaping domestic violence situation, experiencing mental health issues or a long-term health issue. And so they don't necessarily have the wherewithal to be able to present themselves in a way that's going to give them the best chance of perhaps obtaining employment. So what we do is we help them with everything from the outfitting service, and that's how most people know about us. So we collect donated clothing, and certainly the women in Melbourne are very generous in giving us their gently pre-loved clothing. And so the women will come in, there will be two volunteers that work with them one-on-one, and they'll outfit them from top to toe, and often the women walk away with bags and bags of clothing, but that's to help them with their confidence. And that we know that that's the first thing that a woman experiences when she is in a situation where she's experiencing disadvantage, is that loss of confidence and self-esteem. And then we'll go on to help her around, it might be a job interview skills, it might be around resume writing, or it might be around trying to find that balance around well-being, having that well-being in your life in all aspects and being able to hold down employment. So, you know, that might be around getting enough rest, looking after your mental health, looking after finances, that type of thing. And then we move on that once a woman might have employment, then she'll work with a series of our mentors that we've trained.
Okay, so why women in particular? Like, I imagine men experiencing disadvantage would also like to get into work. So
Sure.
what's the focus on women in particular here?
Well, women, as we know, do experience obstacles that perhaps men don't face, and currently there is no service that specifically deals with women and with the issues that women face. So, for example, when a woman is experiencing disadvantage, being able to present herself in a way, as I said before, in a way that she's going to best articulate her role in a job, and not having that confidence. And there's something very special about women validating women and validating their strengths. So, and we've had a lot of success from our approach and our formula, if you like.
Okay, so what can people do if they want to support the organisation Fitted for Work?
Well, there's a number of ways. We don't receive government funding currently, so we operate on donations, and we also work on grants from philanthropic funds and also lots of fundraising activities. But there's lots of ways that people can work with us, and we certainly welcome men and women. Everything from sorting donated clothing right through to donating money, getting involved in our appeals. We've currently got one running at the moment, which is our annual appeal. That's our big fundraiser to keep us going and to be able to provide more depth around the services that we're offering as well.
I imagine there are particular demographics that would need more support than others. Like, there's a lot of different types of disadvantage.
Yeah.
But what do you find are the situations that stand out to you that are quite common for women who come to you for help?
Well, over 30%, closer to 40% of the women that we see are from refugee and migrant backgrounds. But look, having said that, it depends on where a woman's at in her life. And, you know, no one's immune from finding themselves in that situation. You know, a really great example is you might be in your mid-50s, be in a role for a very long time, and then perhaps you find that your role's been made redundant and you're finding it very difficult to be re-employed, and you've lost your confidence, you've lost your sense of self, and slowly any savings start to run out and you find yourself in a real crisis situation. So, you know, I think it's across the board, and we see women from ages 16 right through to 65, and we
Okay.
know that women are working longer because they have to. We
They're
know
living
that,
longer.
yeah. Well, they're working longer because they don't have the superannuation, and we know that women are severely disadvantaged because they've maybe had a break in their working life due to having children, or perhaps they have been out of the workforce for a long period of time. So we know that, you know, as I said, it can happen to anyone at any point in time.
You mentioned earlier that you help women in domestic violence situations. Do you take a different approach with people from different backgrounds when you're helping them to find work and to get that confidence back?
Yeah, well, look, everyone's on a different part of their journey, you know, and it may be that we know that for 50% of the women that we see, they obtain work within 3 months of going through our service. But for that other 50%, their journey might be a little bit longer. So it might be that we need to work with them for a longer period of time and doing different things, and we might need to build up those life skills and those resilience skills before they're ready to go back into the workforce. And for some women, when they get their confidence back, it may be that they don't go directly into the workforce, but they may go on to further study. They've got the confidence to think about a career as opposed to just a job. And we know that that has a huge spin-off to the way that a woman might then go home and parent her kids, how she engages with her community, and how she contributes to society as a whole.
All right, well, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back in a moment with Sex Ed.